Good day! Welcome to the TOEIC Reading Practice Part 6 Text Completion. Today, we're going to talk about verb tense time clauses. I am Teacher Addie and I'll be your teacher for today. A time clause shows the time of the action of the verb in the main clause. A time clause begins with a word or phrase, such as before, after, until, when, while, as soon as, and by the time. The verb tense in one clause gives you a clue about the correct tense for the other clause. Let's have sample sentences. Number 1. I will call the maintenance office when the photocopier needs a repair. The tense in the main clause is in the future tense, and the time clause starts with a word when. Take note that when the main clause is in the future tense, the tense in the time clause is in the simple present. Number 2. We finished the report before the morning started. Here, the tense in the main clause is in the past tense. The two clauses are joined by before. Therefore, the tense in the time clause should also be in the past tense. Number 3. We will return to the office as soon as the meeting is over. A time clause about the future uses a present tense verb. The future tense verb is in the main clause. The verb in the time clause is in the present tense, even though the action will occur in the future. Let's now go to the strategies you can use when answering the TOEIC exam. First, when you need to choose a verb to complete a clause, look at the tense of the main verb in the other clause. Let's have an example. We blanked lunch after we got off the plane. A had, B have, C have had, or D will have. The verb in the time clause, got, is in the past tense, and past tense is the only logical choice for the verb in main clause. Therefore, the correct answer is A, had. Strategy number 2. If you don't know the answer, proceed to the next one. This way, you have the assurance to have answered all the questions you are sure about the answers. Moreover, this will give you more time to look back and think of the answers for the previous questions you skipped. The next part of our lesson is the practice exercises. Make sure to listen carefully to each item and try to guess the answers. Number 1. When the messenger blank, will you please give him this package? A. Will arrive, B. Arrives, C. Arriving, or D. Arrived. The main clause uses a future tense will give, so in the time clause, we need a simple present. The present tense among the choices is letter B, arrives. Number 2. Miss Brigham had very little office experience when we blanked her. A. Hire, B. Will hire, C. Have hired, or D. Hired. What is the verb tense in the main clause? Yes, it is in the past tense, had. Therefore, we need a past tense in the time clause. So, the answer is D. Hired. Number 3. When there are long lines at the cafeteria, I blank my lunch at the sandwich shop across the street. A. Buy, B. Bought, C. Have bought, or D. Buying. The verb in the time clause is are, which is in the present tense. So we need a simple present. Don't be confused why we don't need a future tense. In this sentence, the context does not imply a future action. Rather, it is about habit, and we use simple present when we talk about habits. Therefore, the answer is A. Buy. Number 4. As soon as the rain stops, we blank to the bank. A. Walk, B. Walked, C. Will walk, or D. Have walked. The time clause in this sentence uses a simple present tense of the verb stop. we need a simple future tense of the verb walk in the main clause. So our answer is C, will walk. Number 5. As soon as the ad appeared on the newspaper, several people blanked to find out about the office for rent. A called, B will call, C call, or D calls. What is the verb tense in the time clause? Correct. It is the past tense of the verb appear. It is obvious that we need a past tense of the verb in the main clause. Therefore, the answer is A, called. Number 6. He will call you before he blank for the airport. A, left, B, leave, C, leaves, or D, will leave. In here, the tense of the verb in the main clause is in the future tense. Remember, we use present tense in time clause when we talk about the future. Therefore, the answer is C, leaves. Number 7. Miss Kim always blank notes while Mr. Lee talks with the client. A will take, B has taken, C took, or D takes. What tense is used in the time clause? Yes, it is the present tense, which is the verb talks. Obviously, we need a simple present tense of the verb take. So our answer is D, takes. Number 8. We stayed at the office until we blanked the telecast. A, finish, B, finished, C, will finish, or D, are finishing. The verb in the main clause is stayed, and it is in the past tense. All the choices are different forms of the verb finish. However, we need the past form, so our answer is B, finished. Number 9. I usually blank my phone messages before I look at my email. A, check, B, checks, C, checked, or D, will check. In this sentence, what tense is needed? Yes, we need a simple present form of the verb because of the verb look in the time clause. What is the answer for this? Yes, it is letter A, check. Last but not the least, number 10. We will call you when we blank our decision. A, will make, B, making, C, make, or D, made. Again, when the tense of the verb in the main clause is in the future tense, we need a simple present tense in the time clause. Therefore, the answer is correct. It is letter C, make. This marks the end of our lesson for today. I hope you had fun learning. See you in the next episode.